Welcome, everybody, to LiveFest Club. It's raw. It's real. We're at episode number 5.
Wow.
We've got a fantastic show tonight for you. Really excited to go through this with you guys. We have Mr. Patrick Dearborn, who's also a sponsor, the lead sponsor of LiveFest Club. Thank you, Patrick. Means a lot to us. You have Dan Kowal with us here. Dan, so happy to have you. Commissioner here in Naples.
Thank you, Steve.
So happy to hear. I know you know a lot about music, too, so...
Yeah, I love music.
More than Greg Dodge, probably.
We're really happy to have you here, Dan. And then also my co-host, Pat Jira.
Wow.
Pat, as always, here we go. Number 5.
I got to say, I'm probably the most excited about this one, other than Rock Republic, probably.
Come on, Rock Republic. All your
Patrick
shows
Dearborn and Commissioner Kowal, side by side. Talk about music and LiveFest.
Yeah, no politics.
No politics.
And Freedom Town, USA. Trademark.
Oh, we're going to talk about Freedom Town and what makes this town special.
For sure. OG right there.
Sure.
There you go. So let's start out, real quick. I think it'd be fun to hear about you guys and how you guys first met. Tell us about that.
Wow.
Go ahead, Kowal. I didn't like him, but I'll let him tell the story. He's lucky I didn't whoop his ass. But go ahead, Dan. You tell the story.
It's through my wife. The easiest way I can do is through my wife, Lauren Maxwell. Who's
my best friend. One of my best friends.
Which her and Pat been friends for many, many years. I mean, they're in the
47.
industry together. So from time to time, Pat would be out, we'd be out, and just I come from a law enforcement military background, and I know Pat's from the Army too, but it was kind of like I always measure people. I look at people and I'm kind of like, I'm not easy. I don't want to say I'm not easy to get to know, but
you're not.
I keep
easy
everybody
to
at a
get to know.
distance until I really know who they are. And I think the couple first times we met, Pat may have been partaking in some spirits. And
So
that time I was just kind of like
a couple rulers away, and then you dropped down to
there was
one
some
ruler.
rulers away, and then at some point, I have to just say I'm gonna be honest, man. He's my best friend in Naples right now, so.
That's quite a compliment.
Right now at the end, though, kind of thinking for a loop. Just right now.
Just in Naples.
But
you know what?
Pat Gira's moving up, though. Pat Gira's moving up.
That's a gentle behave yourself type of comment, right? Right now, if he continues to behave himself, it'll be good.
You got to keep Pat on a short leash sometimes. But
So can I tell my side
God
real
bless
quick?
his,
Yeah, please
God bless
do,
his
because
man.
We know there's two sides to every story, so let's hear your side.
There's actually 3 sides. His side, my side, what really happened. So real quick, Lauren was definitely one of my best friends in the whole world, still is. And I'd known her from way back when Montana was born, et cetera. I didn't know Dan at all, but I actually obviously, I'm a huge, like you are, Steve and Pat, we're huge supporters of the Blue. I remember buying all the motorcycle cops. I'd be at the Mercado, that deli that was there, and they would have breakfast or lunch there. And every time I was there, I'd buy them all lunch. Dan was one of those guys. He served our county tirelessly, as he did everything from undercover to motorcycle. This is the hardest jobs you can think of within any police department. This guy, all right, this former U.S. Army Pittsburgh boy, he signed up for and did it. And then, of course, he retires, and he runs for county commission. And we went from, I'm just being honest, Knucklehead LLC to, I think, 5 of the most common sense guys of all time leading our county. So, but when I first met him, I thought he was a hard ass. I'm like, me and this guy are going to get in a fight. I'm about to stab him in the neck with a fork. But luckily, he and I connected, and he is definitely my best friend for sure. In this county, and so is his wife, Lauren. They're just great people. And Steve, you had mentioned the previous show. I love what this show does with you and Pat. You bring in real people that just love this town, whether they're a rock band, Rock Republic, whether they're one of the baddest ass DJs in America, DJ Sinister, who you've got on next. Doesn't matter. 239 Live. You bring people together, man, and it's just awesome that this show does that.
All right, let me pump the brakes a little bit. Let me bring some reality to this. Once I got to know Lisa, his wife, and we're like, okay, we can accept Pat now.
Wow. Next question.
Where were you guys at?
Because she's a saint.
Do you remember?
She's a saint, man.
Do you remember where it was at?
Where was it? I think the first time I ever really laid eyes on you, I think it was like Capitol Grill or something.
Really?
Of course, shocker.
Wait, but getting Lisa's approval, that's like getting approval from Homeland Security, isn't it?
No, Lisa's, she's a saint, man.
One thing we all got in common, these 3 guys right here, we got great wives.
Oh, yeah.
They put up with a lot of stuff.
For sure.
And just do a lot as well behind the scenes. So as good as you are, as good as LiveFest is, I guarantee you, that woman right there at your side is a big part of that. Same thing with Lauren and Dan, and same thing with Lisa and me, man. We're blessed, for sure.
For sure. Maria's been fantastic, and she's watched me grow a lot of businesses, and
she's awesome.
She knows what it takes, and the work ethic and the hours and the commitment to make something successful, you know. That's key. You got to be a grinder. The grinders win in the end. Those that are transparent, run businesses with high integrity. That's the most important stuff.
100%.
And, so,
we're blessed.
Yeah.
You and I have had that talk, man. So have Dan and I too, but you can't do it solo. And I'm not knocking anybody trying to do it solo. Speaking of a grind, though, I mean, Patrick Jira is still single, but I know he's heavily involved with somebody. So maybe by the time we do our next show, Pat can also join the married club talk and be a great discussion.
Is that a hint over to Patrick over there?
We'll see.
Grind it.
So guys, there's a big event coming up. Very big.
Woo!
Yes, sir.
Biggest event of the whole year, bar none.
Well, it's the biggest single event.
We're talking about Lauren Maxwell's Christmas party, right?
Nope, not Lauren Maxwell's Christmas party. That's second.
Hang on,
biggest.
Dan was into something very, very deep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I believe, coming from the law enforcement side, I know what it was like, when you guys started this up and what it's become. This is probably the largest single one-night event in all of Collier County that takes place, with the amount of people that come in and for the event and for what it takes, the logistics, and on all sides of it. I mean, logistics from the public safety side, from your production side, the setting up, the breaking down. I mean, it's just amazing. Transportation.
It's funny because when we were talking about the show yesterday, so one of the questions I was going to have for you, Commissioner Kowal, from a law enforcement standpoint, such a big event out in the open like that, what it takes to keep everyone safe. So
I mean, that's and the internal staff, the guys you have working alongside the sheriff's department and the guys that come out and do because it's all over.
Yeah, we have separate private security.
Yeah.
But the big layering is the heavies, and you guys are the heavies. And look, I can tell you this firsthand. I would not want to start anything at LiveFest because we have snipers in the trees. Oh, yeah. We've got everything. We've got tanks backstage.
I know. So, our Criminal Intelligence Bureau puts guys out, plain clothes. That are amongst the crowd, amongst the people. There's a lot to it. I mean, I don't want to talk a whole lot about logistical side of it, but it's a big thing, and it's probably it's just as safe as it is fun.
But you bring up a good point, and that is part of why Naples is so great. We call it Freedom Town USA. That's a big brand that Patrick came up with, and he's been able to promote that name and get that. Basically, that's the branding. That's the new label, and he's almost single-handedly done that, which I think is great. It's a great name for it. But part of that is safety and security. So it shows how serious law enforcement is about keeping that reputation, that Naples is a safe, secure area that's built on logic and balance, and quality of life and the importance of quality of life. And I think that's one of the biggest draws. I mean, I was born in Florida, but our family moved to Southwest Florida in 1979. So I've been here a very long time. I finished high school at Lately High School. And so I've seen a lot of change, everything, like I would say 80% of, like, for example, where the Ritz was, and 80% of what you see our communities right now were all trees. Back then, they were either wetlands or trees or a combination thereof.
A lot of spotted owls back then.
It's changed a lot in the last 45 years.
Do you remember when the swamp buggy track was at the?
Of course.
Off of Airport Road in the industrial park.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how. At one point, that was the rural area of Naples.
Crazy.
But back to that point, law enforcement here has done such a good job in making people feel safe. And taking, that safety very seriously, whether it's a big event like LiveFest or just the day-to-day lives, and then, if you want to speak to that further.
And Steve, and it comes down, it's not just the professionals in law enforcement and the people we have in those places that, that run our law enforcement. It is the citizens here. The citizens are those type of people that believe in law and order. They believe that there's a certain formula to having peace and freedom that comes with people protecting your liberty, and having a law enforcement, a top-rated law enforcement, organization that here in the county gives that to these people, and they're supported 100% by the public. And when you have some communities around this country when they're not supported, you know, that's where there's deficiency.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing I really love that you see here regularly is the amount of respect for law enforcement compared to what we've seen in some other places. But, you know, we're not going to go there. This is, you know, a lot of this, our focus always here at LiveFest Club is about, you know, music and entertainment and how that unites people, you know, and, you know, so that's a real key thing. But, you know, you've seen a lot of growth being in real estate, moving a lot of big, you know, houses around town. Tell us what you've seen evolve here, you know, from that perspective, from a real estate perspective.
Great question, Steve. So real quick, I got to go back to, I'll be remiss if we don't give a shout out. And I know you for sure, I know everybody in this room supports all of our first responders. Obviously, huge kudos to Collier County Sheriffs and Kevin Rambosk and Jim Bloom and everybody that works in that organization. You have to go hand in hand with that with our fire, Greater Naples Fire Rescue, and just North Collier. All the fire districts, man, just God bless that we live in a town where we have the best, bar none, the best law enforcement firefighters, not just in Collier County in Southwest Florida. I've said it before, not just in the state of Florida. I would put our guys, men and women, up against anybody in the country.
Tell us about your role with the firefighting organization here.
My role is easy. I get to work with and support the greatest firefighters on planet Earth and Greater Naples Fire Rescue. Support them, make sure we manage them from a fiscal responsibility, taxpayer dollars, that we're using money wisely, make sure we work with the unions to make sure the contract is in line. That means I got to wear some boots sometimes, if you know what I mean. And then, but I love those firefighters, man, the unions. It's been great dealing with them. We've had a great couple years since I got elected, and I plan on running for re-election next year.
And how long have you been a fire commissioner now?
Almost 4 years. I ran the same time Dan Kowal did that huge change we had in Collier County during COVID. Dan Kowal, and Chris Hall swung the tide of our Collier County commissioners, and then I got to run for fire commissioner, too. It was a cool experience.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk some music.
Let's go. That's what
I'm here for.
Well,
Come on.
That and ammunition bourbon, but yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, I'm
Need a
looking a
refill.
little low.
taking a little
Nice
brown
glass
water
there
here.
too, Commissioner. Look at that
Live Fest.
LiveFest
Let me tell you something.
glass. This is
No,
first
man.
class. How
Sweet.
first
Steve,
class
I'm
is this
being dead
operation?
serious. I can't help. Every time I come in, I shoot videos. Steve's rock and roll memorabilia, the stories he's got from being a bouncer, one of the craziest rock and roll bars in Gainesville, to this guest. I've been here with Rock Republic. I've been here with the owners of Sugar Shack. Tonight, you got DJ Sinister. So the list goes on. I know Ira Dean's coming up. Maybe you'll even get Darius Rucker, man. And, of course, I know you're going to get Russell Dickerson, too, maybe OAR. But the point is, this is ground zero for rock and roll for Freedom Town, USA. I seriously get amped up. I'm making noise back here. It's like Christmas time for me every time I walk in these doors. I mean it. And Steve knows I get super pumped up. This is the ultimate man cave for rock and roll stars.
I'll let you marinate on it for a couple of minutes.
Yes, sir.
Because I already told Commissioner Kowal I'm going to ask him top 5 favorite bands all time, Commissioner Kowal, because I know you're a big music guy.
Yeah, and music's a big part of my life. It from a very, very small child. I'm telling you my age. I'm 59. I just turned 59 in August. So I'm a generation.
Don't look a day over 30.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
The haircut.
He dyes his color that hair.
Yeah, I dyed gray, so
dyes it
everybody
gray.
thinks I'm older. And
No, the people
distinguished.
take you more serious that way.
yeah,
You know,
true.
they do.
They do.
But,
they take them serious.
I'm Gen X, so I grew up when there was I had a record player, not a iPod or whatever the hell these kids listen to on these days. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I used to go to sleep as a kid. I had a record player in my room, and I don't know if you've ever seen one. It sits on there's a long rod on the record player, and had a little device on there. So you could set a couple albums on there. And as one played, the next one would fall. And I had it in this order. I had Jimi Hendrix. I had the Doors. I had the Rolling Stones. And I had, I said Rolling Stones. Okay, I had Jimi Hendrix, the Doors, Rolling Stones, and then those are my 3 go-to.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on in life, I've discovered the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh.
And then Blues Traveler.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like my set. I kind of go around like I haven't bought into the new rock stuff.
Yeah.
Even in growing up like in the 80s in high school, like all these hair bands. And
Yeah.
that. I didn't really buy. I was already locked into that, and I think once that's your genre, like that's what you used to.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Classic
it was hard
rock.
to, like kind of melt over to that, that hair band stuff and that. I mean, listen to Little Wing. I mean, come on, Jimi Hendrix, Little Wing, or like Castles in the Sand.
Wow.
The Trains Are Coming. I mean, these are the ones that people don't know a lot about.
Yeah.
But you just listen to the I don't know, the magic that comes out of that music, and of course Led Zeppelin. I mean, that's the other one I had on there, Led Zeppelin. I forgot, but I mean, it's just the Immigrant Song and that intro, the guitar solo. I mean, it's just nuts. And Bonham on the drums.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
There's talented people, but these guys broke the mold, man. I mean, that's what and until this day, I have a set of Bose noise canceling headphones, and that's what I fall asleep to. I play my stuff on my phone until I fall asleep. It just, that's my, I guess that's just the way I put myself to bed. But I still do it today.
I asked Colonel Bloom this. I'm going to ask you this. Because you've been police retired, obviously, but long enough to where police cars had some of them had the cassette players. You ever put on a song while chasing a bad guy?
No, but a friend of mine that I worked with when I used to be on the strategic enforcement team, we used to call it SET. But the guys on the street used to call us the Jump Out Boys. He put all our, once we got video in the cars, he put all our vehicle pursuits and all that on one CD.
Oh, really?
And then he put Renegade in the background. The song Renegade.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was kind of cool. But that's kind of like the motto.
Yeah.
So.
Pat Dearborn.
Yes, sir.
Top 5.
Just got here. First time call.
Welcome. I couldn't hear you before, thanks for coming on. Top 5, dead or alive.
Wow, dead or alive. He goes Bon Jovi right there.
Yeah, no pun intended on that. Well, nice little drop in.
That's a great question, man. Dan has some good ones. It's crazy. He loved Jimi Hendrix and the Doors and all that. Man, he ended up going and working drug enforcement undercover. It's pretty crazy. And he knew all
It was a premonition.
He knew what to look for. Had to talk the language.
Yeah. He knew it. He spoke it fluently. So I got to go. Definitely got to put the Who in there. The Who. Mm-hmm. DJ Sender's got the Pyromania. I want to say that was circa 80.
83.
Yeah, 83, 84, 83. And that was one of my favorite albums of all time. I got to go Rush, man, the greatest 3-man rock and roll band in history. Neil Peart, I mean, those guys, Leif Erikson, those guys were unbelievable. Even though they're from Canada, and one of them got beat up running his mouth by some people here in Collier County. Still love Rush. So the Who, Rush, we got Def Leppard. I got to throw in there, and don't laugh at me, man, I love Journey. Sure. And I love the old Steve Perry Journey, and I love the little Filipino cute kid Perry Journey. So I've seen them both a million times. They're awesome.
Guy sounds just like him, by the way.
Last but not least, and this happened late in my life, my best friend Steve Novak that passed away recently from cancer was a huge Eagles fan. And I never gave him the time of day. And he got to me, and my 50th birthday, I went out to San Diego. I saw the Eagles, obviously Glenn Fry's son and some other changes. But, man, I was hooked. And I've seen him 3 or 4 times in concert since then. Saw him at the Sphere. Anyway, unbelievable. So I put the Eagles there around my top 5. Next question.
Pretty good list, Steve Hagenbuckle. Who's your top 5 real quick?
Oh,
I got to hear this.
So,
did he have a top 5 or top 50?
Tom Petty?
Yeah, well, I worked for all of them. So Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers is my number 1. Got to work security for Tom, and also was invited to go water skiing with them and everything when they used to come back to Gainesville from L.A. They'd only been out to L.A. I want to say 4 years, and they used to come back all the time. So our band, we play a lot of Tom Petty. My voice kind of aligns with that. So, so a little bit of a southern draw there. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Also was a big Greg Allman fan. Worked security for Greg also back then in the 80s. I would say Foo Fighters are a big favorite of mine. Love the Foo Fighters. Also, I would have to put in there Gin Blossoms, which they've been at LiveFest, and the Goo Goo Dolls. Oh, yeah. So
last year
they were also played at LiveFest.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Johnny Resnick and his cousin Robbie are fantastic
got the jam
guys,
with
and
them.
so that's my list. That'd be my list
Pat, can I jump in for 1 second? So I've been to, I think, every Live Fest.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest thing to go see every year. I think Goo Goo Dolls was my preemptive favorite. And 30th Special was awesome. I'm old school rock. You've got some great people there, and I love country. But Goo Goo Dolls beforehand exceeded my expectations. I was sitting there with Steve and Eric Pappenfuss and a bunch of people just rocking out to them. And they played when they played Black Balloon, I'm not going to lie to you, man. It was just one of those moments looking at 20,000 people, all their iPhones flashing. It just was a moment in time I'll never forget.
You want to hear what my biggest regret was of their set? Was I was up on stage, during part of their set, and I saw the set list taped to the stage, right? And I'm looking at the set list, and this was actually right when they're coming off of stage, and they didn't play the last song because they were being respectful of the run of show, the timeline.
Yep.
For the next band that came on was Old Dominion, and they're being very respectful of the timeline. I looked down, the last song that they didn't play was Give a Little Bit, their version of Supertramp's Give a Little Bit, which would have brought the house down. That was what they were going to close their set with. They kind of rewrote the song a little bit. That'd
have been awesome.
That would have been awesome, and that's a song I love to death because it just brings everybody together. It's such a feel good song, and so when Johnny's walking off, I go, he looks at me, he goes, I know, and I said, you didn't give a little bit. And he looks at me, he goes, damn you. And he walks away.
That's awesome.
They're good people. The next morning, Johnny Resnick, such a good guy, was going to be on a plane at 8 a.m. out of Miami to fly to Helsinki with his 8-year-old daughter to go stay overnight in one of those igloos with a glass ceiling to watch the Northern Lights. Yeah. Wow. And that's where he was off to the next day. So good guy.
Yeah, great guy.
I have to say, though, LiveFest, it definitely has a little bit of everything, and I think that's what's great about it. Because you go there, and you might not be a big country guy, or you might not be a big rock person, but you have such a good melt of different bands and different sounds and different genres that play every year at this, that everybody can enjoy something. It brings people together. And that's what's so great about music. It just brings people together. Right?
Yeah, you're right. It gives you time to forget about everything. But, Dan, I tell you what, I'm really glad you brought that up because if you guys knew about it, we jokingly call about it when we're looking at the talent lineup for the next year. We call it a chemistry project because trying to find a little bit of everything. And we evaluate everything when we look at the bands. We look at what's their stage energy, what's the look, what's the feel, what's the genre, because we want all people to enjoy the experience. Yes. So if you're there for some rock and roll, you're going to get some rock and roll. If you're there, for some blues, you're going to feel that. If you're there for some indie rock, you're going to feel that. If you're there for country, you're going to feel that. And then we also, in between each set, we keep the entertainment going with my dear friend DJ Sinister. And DJ Sinister...
baby.
Oh, he's awesome, this guy. And Sinister, he tours with Big and Rich. So, even in between their songs and during their live performances, he just got back from, the Grand Ole Opry. He was up there, doing a song at the Grand Ole Opry. He's amazing, and he keeps the energy going, which is key because, you have anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes between sets from the different bands. And so he just fills that up with such hyped energy, and the crowd loves it. They love him. And I'm telling you, what's there not to love about this guy? Yeah. And if you get to know him like I know him, he's a really good person, and he's a dear friend.
I like his hat.
And he's going to be on our show. I believe he may be episode number 6.
Love that.
But he's going to be on our show soon.
He's a real deal, man.
But so that's how we try to do it. But thanks for noticing that because it's a whole complicated, algorithm, for lack of better terms, because you're trying to blend all that together and then stay in budget, because one of the big things that we do is we give money to charity. And so, we're not doing this to make a lot of money. We're doing this as a give back for Naples. That was always my goal. And the reason I started LiveFest was because Naples did not have a significant music festival of any kind. You used to have to drive to Miami or Tampa or Orlando to see a real show, and you'd have to stay the night sometimes. So I was like, where can we bring that in? So, fortunately, the Wasserman Group, who runs the Grant Thornton Invitational, which is now a pairing of the LPG and the PGA, golf matchup, in a different format now. It's more of a scramble format, but they have that pro event. It's the first merging ever of the women's and men's pros, and it's top 15 players. But they allowed us to bolt LiveFest on as a Saturday night event, and we got Greg Norman's blessing to do that. We got the PGA's blessing. We got the Ritz-Carlton and the Tiburon Golf Club, our gracious host. So there was a lot of stuff that had to come together. But year in and year out, it's a chemistry project, and thank you for noticing that. To put all that together, it's a lot of thought. It's not just like, oh, go hire X, Y, and Z. We're thinking about, is the energy right? It's from going from one band to the next. We want to elevate, the energy and hype it, and make sure that DJ Sinister, who doesn't need, any assistance or guidance, to keep that energy level high. And
he does.
He does.
The best.
So,
Steve.
Well, you must go to A in chemistry then, because you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Putting that all together logistically, I mean, look, the county commissioner knows how tough. I talk to him all the time, and just to hear the stories of, again, logistically, the algorithms, as you said, of this county, no matter what he does, no matter what they do, somebody's always going to be unhappy. There's always somebody going to be, there's got to be one person out there that had to complain about too much fun or too much noise at LiveFest.
You want to hear what our complaints were?
I want to hear.
The worst complaints we've ever had are this. There's three, and we've resolved them because our goal is always to try to make it better and be good listeners, right? Be good listeners and respond to that. So the first year or two, they said you didn't have enough porta potties, and there wasn't enough place for us to buy beer or cocktails, or there wasn't enough concessions.
You solved that problem.
Yeah, so we're like, oh, that's an easy fix. And if that's all you have to say that's negative, we appreciate the compliment. We'll take care of that. And
that's
then
awesome.
And then the other thing is that a lot of people really want, to be up front to get that experience, because
Pit
as you know, we have a big stage, and in the pit we have a thrust that comes off the stage that allows that performer to get, up close and personal with the folks. One of the things we're doing this year is we're actually lowering that thrust. So it used to be kind of high where, people had to look up to the entertainer. We're lowering it this year, so it makes it even more intimate. But I tell you what, the last complaint that I was going to tell you about was, there's too many people too excited in the pit. That was the complaint. People are too excited up there.
I'm sorry about
and I
that.
said, I said, define excited.
Yeah.
And then they was just quiet.
Yeah.
And I said, I think we're good here.
I want to apologize, but every year I've gone, I've always bought the pit passes. That's all we do. We always get a group of people to come. The best times ever. We actually, the year I went to hang out with Dan, because he and I became buddies, he was up in that.
Well, I've been fortunate. Yeah, I've been fortunate
because the pit passes are where it's at, dude.
I've been fortunate because First Horizon, me and my wife, we have a company on the side, Halex Inc., that we do property management. And First Horizon with Indira and them guys over there, they're just they're top of the notch. So.
They're awesome,
and I know they're a big sponsor with his name's escaped me, but
David Gordley.
Yeah, Dave Gordley, and it's such a great experience, and they usually get their people to bank with them, would have big accounts, and
they're a fantastic bank. We've been a very big supporter of theirs and a big client of theirs for many years, and they've been a sponsor of LiveFest since year one, and
back when they were Iberia.
Yeah, when they're under First Horizon, they continued to grow the relationship, grow the sponsorship, and now they are the presenting sponsor for LiveFest, and it's just been a fantastic relationship, and I have nothing but praise for First Horizon Bank.
That's awesome.
Not only as a sponsor of LiveFest, but as an organization that utilizes their financial services and does loans with that organization, have many bank accounts with that organization. But First Horizon Bank, top notch, and a big shout out to David Gordley. What a quality professional.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
My neighbor way back almost 15 years ago, him and his little girls grew up right with my sons. Crazy, great guy.
Yeah.
How about a shout out to your I think Hector Allegro Landscaping is their first time sponsor. They're a big time sponsor this year. Hector Diaz, who you and I met. You met with me at the Lead. You came as my guest to Kowal and Lauren were all sponsors of Legends.
Legends.
And Steve came to a couple of those, and you met Hector at that thing, and he became a sponsor of your.
Actually, I may have met him there, but the first time I actually spoke to him was at, I believe, your house when you were hosting an event.
Was it for the Byron?
Yeah,
Byron, his first fundraiser before he came out to announce governor.
And that's when Hector approached me.
Yeah.
And Hector approached me, and it was one of those conversations where he said, "I really love what you're doing with LiveFest. I'm interested in
Hector,
participating." Yeah, because he caught me off guard. I was there, to hang out with you guys and support Byron, and so he's telling me how he wanted to participate. I said, we only have one sponsorship available, and I told him about it. He said, send me a slide deck on it. And it was a big sponsorship. It's stage right. So stage side right, you'll see a lot of signage there for Allegro Group, Allegro Landscaping, and he's just been great.
That's my landscaper.
And with within a week he signed the agreement. So he's a handshake guy. I never met him before. He said, "I want to do this."
Hector don't play.
A week later, it was done.
Yeah.
So, we're excited to have Allegro Group as a big sponsor.
He's a huge fan of Dan Kowal. He supported Dan back when Dan ran against Penny Taylor, which was an unbelievable, one of the toughest races ever. Hector's great people, man. He is awesome, and I'm so pumped to see you and him locking arms. I didn't know. I guess Pat Jira just got here. So, Pat, welcome to the show.
You're still here.
You got control of the show, Pat. You already took one of my questions, your favorite LiveFest performance. I'm going to ask Commissioner Kowal one of your one or two favorant performances.
I think it was the first with Darius Rucker.
Thanks for letting me chime in, Pat.
That was the first one I went to. So, yeah. I mean, that was probably my favorite.
You want to hear an interesting story about that? So, Darius was the co-headliner, but he went on before Lady Antebellum, okay? So some people thought that Darius was the headliner because he's so amazing, right? Hootie and the Blowfish, and now a wildly successful country career. Got an irreplaceable voice, got an amazing cool about him, right? Just this really cool, vibe. And
Steve, at that time, his hit Wagon Wheel was #1 in the country when you had him on LiveFest.
I know.
That's why I just assumed that he was the number one guy.
My point, though, behind all that was when he finished playing, about 15 to 20% of the audience thought the show was over, and they were leaving. Yep. And we're watching the people leave, and then Lady Antebellum came on and did an amazing job. Yeah,
Steve,
but people are like, whoa, there's more, than they came back in. But
I have to admit, I didn't even know who Lady Antebellum was at the time, and the only reason I knew about him is because, believe it or not, my wife and my kids had to escape from one of the hurricanes up to Atlanta to stay with her brother up there. And she was playing at the open amphitheater. Lady Antebellum was playing at the open amphitheater there out on the grass. And she went to see them with the kids because they had nothing to do while I was here during the hurricane, still at the sheriff's office. And it was funny. She knew who they were. I was like, I don't even know who these people are, but I know who Darius Rucker is. He was a Hootie and the Blowfish, man. That was good stuff.
Charles Kelly is a fantastic guy, too. He's a great guy, from Lady Antebellum. Yep. Charles, the lead singer there. He's a real cool guy, real fun guy. So,
Pat wanted me to ask you, you got all these relationships with all these rock stars.
Yeah.
I mean, you do, Steve. You're personal friends with so many of them. And you rock out. And by the way, shout out to you, Blake Owen. I love Good Intentions, man. I'm serious. I love local stuff. My top 3, bar none, are you guys, Rock Republic, and Matty Jolly. Got to get Matty Jolly on the show. If Matty Jolly sees this video clip, man, get your ass, call Pat Jira, get on this show with Steve. Matty Jolly's another one. He's a local guy.
Oh, he's got a great voice.
Pours his heart and soul into this town. I love local icons in this town.
And if you've been around, his father.
Oh, yeah.
Was before he was the local singer. Yep. His dad had a hell of a voice, but it was more like kind of like listening to Frank Sinatra type.
He used to do Frank Sinatra nights at Burn.
Yeah.
Pat, you were at a thought. You were going somewhere with that.
So just your relationships with these rockers, I guess the question that Pat Jira wanted me to ask you was, which one?
That's dangerous.
From not before LiveFest, just LiveFest. I know you know the Goo Goo Dolls. You have stories with all these people.
Yeah.
What's your favorite connection so far of all the LiveFest guests you've had? What's your favorite connection been, or what's your favorite moment been over the last 6 years?
I would say with Johnny Resnick. And the reason is that he had a very private meet and greet, and there was only 6 people in the meet and greet, and 4 of those were my family members, my wife, Maria, my 2 daughters, Karina and Hannah, a guy that works with me, and then the head of production, who does a great job, Paul Murphy of Murphy Entertainment Company, a.k.a. Murph, shout out to you. That's all that was in there, and it was it was Johnny and then his cousin Robbie, who held that band together since forever, and we talked for a long time, and he, I would say, I mean, I've always been a big fan. Our band plays Goo Goo Dolls songs, right?
No, plays them well.
And
I saw you play him at Sugar Shack.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And so I would say of the performers there, and it's funny because I had never seen the Goo Goo Dolls live. I've been a fan of their music, but never seen them live until I saw them, and I met them out at Red Rocks.
Okay, wow.
And that was, we were in the 11th row. I was there with my family out in Denver, Colorado, Red Rocks, and I said, I'm going to get them over at LiveFest. So had the conversation with him and management, and that was a natural fit. But
that's awesome.
It's a great
My
question.
favorite moment too, being in that VIP thing with Pappenfuss and all those guys from Ammunition, and getting to see those guys perform because they're one of my favorite bands. I see them 7 times live, and you and I had that talk. So you've had some amazing moments. That's your favorite one. I'm glad I was nearby during that moment because that VIP area, looking right at the stage, freaking awesome.
That stage, right? I mean,
Sorry, Pat.
No, just what makes that stage side right, side suite, cool is you're elevated, you're looking down and watching the band perform, but you also can look straight out at the massive crowd and have the feeling of
DJ Sinister too, rocking it out too, man. They're great seats.
Yeah, and Sinister's right next to that.
I know.
Booth, so he's all over the place. So
yeah, I got 2 years ago. I got pulled up there on that side stage. It was kind of cool. And
you went up kicking and screaming, or
I went up,
pulled up.
Yeah. But it's just like you said, you look out and you don't realize how deep that crowd goes back. I mean, it is
biggest event.
You can't see the back. You don't know where it ends because the lights are coming at you and you can only see so far back.
We've had some big crowds that see the table for Patriot shows and different things. I've seen Rock Republic at stands, and those are 500. Those are 500 people. I mean, maybe I've been to 1,000 event person, but to see 20,000 people
in Naples, Florida,
with the moon and the stars sitting out there in Naples, man, in freaking December, it's just unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. Steve, I mean it. And you're so calm, cool, collected. Like most guys that would run that would dress to show off to people more. They would hand out business cards all the time. Every time I've met you, man, you're always wearing something leather. You always got a cool freaking hat on, custom made hat. Before I knew you, you reminded me of Tom Petty. You were Tom Petty's band. And, of course, that relationship with you and Tom Petty is freaking crazy. You were always calm, cool, collective. Shout out to Aaron Barnes when Dan Kowal was running for office, and he was a bartender. That's where I first met you. You showed up at the Cars Over Fifth party we did every year. Yeah. Byron was there, too.
Yeah.
And that's when I first met you, and I'm like, LiveFest. And so, anyway. And again, shout out to Pat Jira for getting me. If it wasn't for Pat, I wouldn't be a sponsor of this show. And I've said it a million times. Him and Ricky and formerly Tim Jarrett and, of course, Kevin, their team, I'm telling you, I'm so impressed by those guys. Pat's just moving up, and he's on the front cover of Greg's magazine. He's doing things with you with LiveFest. He's doing amazing things. So I'm just proud of, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sponsoring this thing. And I'm so thankful. We got Jimmy P's. We got Ammunition Whiskey. We got the greatest rock and roll memorabilia here. This is my favorite man cave. I get freaking giddy every time I show up here.
You are giddy.
To do this show, man. Seriously. Listen, so Ira Dean and all y'all listening, you better get on the show.
It's cool you're bringing this up. Like how did this show come about? I was fortunate enough to be a guest on 239 Live.
That's it.
And Pat Jira invited me along with Tim Jarrett to be a guest on their shows a couple times. Mm-hmm. Partially because, again, locally they wanted to help talk about LiveFest, and they also wanted to talk about our band, the Good Intentions Band, and so he had us on the show. They also wanted to talk about rock and roll history and working security for a lot of these bands, which I did for many years when I was younger. And so we were having a sidebar, And at the sidebar, also with Blake Becker.
I was gonna say,
shout out to Blake Becker.
Blake.
Built to Eat. They're up in Chicago
Him and
right
Andy
now.
right now, freezing their freaking nads off up in Chicago.
I saw
They're
the
freezing,
pictures.
but they're eating a lot.
They're eating a lot of good food.
They're trying to stay warm.
Deep dish
Also
pizza.
sponsored by Patrick Dearborn, Built to Eat.
Yeah, well, look,
Yeah.
I just like this crew of people, man. I have really good taste in local leadership. I have really good taste in rock events and events. I'm blessed with a great gut. And every time, everybody in this room I've met from day one, I loved. Of course, Blake Becker, one of the greatest dudes ever. Conservative man, he's probably my favorite gay guy in America. So let's keep rocking on.
Yeah. So back to that just real quick. It was. Thanks for that.
That would probably be edited
That
out.
segue.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that intermission. But it was. Listen,
ADD.
Pat just created more work for me. Thanks, buddy.
yeah. Thanks
your
for
thoughts,
thanks for
Steve.
stalling the plug. But it was Pat. It was Pat Jira that said, "Hey, what's next for you? What's next for LiveFest?" And I said, I've been watching what you guys are doing, at 239 Live, and I know there was a transition getting ready to happen with Kevin, and that was exciting. And so I said, I want to, bring conversations, raw and real about entertainers and give them an opportunity to perform. Also, if they'd like, if they want to release a new single, live on the podcast, they could do that too. And I said, I think I have a good studio for it at my home studio, man cave, jam cave, which we are here at today. And they said, yeah, let's do it. Sounds great. And let's put it together. And we did that. And the irony is their production professional also is our sound guy
Ricky
for our
Haas.
band, Ricky Haas. A big shout out to Ricky
Huge.
Haas.
Ricky Haas, I love him.
And he's also the sound guy and has been for many, many years and used to tour with SoFlo and Rock Republic. And we're fortunate enough to share his services with our band. Does an amazing job on sound.
Yeah.
But he runs a lot of the production for it. So again, it was like triangulation. I mean, I already had a relationship with Ricky. That's how I met you guys.
Yep.
And then you guys, we were talking, and I said, you said, what's next for you? I said, let's do this podcast. You said, great idea. And here we are.
Steve, I was there for one of your shows with 239 Live, which was awesome. And I want to go back to Ricky Haas, man, because Ricky Haas, I got the greatest compliment, arguably, in my life.
Ricky Haas,
we were
Lady
at the
Killer.
Minds Over Tumors event. And I'm not going to lie, Ricky was looking good. Pat Jira's looking good. Pat's got some great sport coats lately. I don't know what's going on, but he looks really good.
He's probably got a new sponsor, fashion sponsor.
This lady came up to me. I'm not going to say her name. She knows who she is. Let me tell you, man, there's some great women from Cape Coral. I'm just saying, they're very nice. They're very friendly. So she came up to me and she goes, your son is so good looking. And I go, I paused for a second. I'm like, is Cooper here? I didn't know if his son showed up.
It's a true story.
Yeah,
It's really happened.
you're like, he's supposed to be in school right now at FSU.
And she was talking about the Ricky Haas. So I said, you know what? That's a compliment. Thank you very much. She later on got taken out by security. But that being said, she's from Cape
alcohol's a
Coral,
hell
so
of
it
a thing.
happens. A lot of tats and a lot of yats. So shout out to Ricky Haas, man, my unadopted son. I love you, son. You're doing a good job tonight. All right. Pat, I'm sorry, man. This is your shot.
Oh, no, you took two of my questions already, so why stop there? You're good.
I got to say, though, since I've been a politician, I've been invited on a lot of shows. And this is probably one of my most favorites so far. You get free meat and bourbon. It is free, right? It is free, right?
That should be the new tagline.
As far as you know.
LiveFest Club, where you get free meat and bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a new slogan
Yeah,
for us. Free meat and bourbon.
What else could one ask?
Thank you for the compliment, though. It's a relaxing
Seriously.
environment.
And that's what I like about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's not, I got to be like on this political game.
And I thought you'd be.
I'm over that, man.
Exactly what did I not say that to Steve? I said,
Yeah.
Dan's really going to appreciate coming here. It's going to be relaxed. It's not going to have to talk about politics. Can talk about music and be in a relaxed.
No, but
setting.
that you bring up a good point because we talked about this before the show. How refreshing is it to have a non-political sitting commissioner who has to deal with politics left and right?
Yeah.
We're not going to get into all that because we're here about bringing people together, not dividing people. But I think that says a lot about you because that stuff can go sideways quickly. It's not what defines somebody. And you mentioned that earlier. What matters to you, and if you're going to get close to somebody, you need to feel comfortable with the person, the individual, and before you're going to let down your guard and say, okay, I want this person in my world. I mean, and that's what I sensed earlier.
For sure. Yeah, but like you said, it's amazing though. It's just back to music. I mean, it's just how, there's such a bond that people come together through music. Yeah. It's amazing that, and like I said, it's always been a big part of my life. It felt that void of, whatever. I grew up, I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth. Let's just say that.
I don't think any of us did.
So
I
there were no silver spoons in Pittsburgh.
No, they didn't. They were outlawed.
A lot of coal and twitches.
Iron spoons. Yeah,
iron.
But no, it just is what it is, and I'm so blessed that wherever I ended up in life, I was an 18-year-old kid, joined the Army, didn't know where I was going to end up, But reality is just whatever happened. Maybe I got guardian angels or something that looked over me. Mm-hmm. I turned right when I, instead of turning left. And maybe there was something on the left that, wasn't there and it's supposed to be good for me. But in reality is I just try to live a life of the high road and just, take people for who they are. Yeah. Not the labels, not the, or what they've done. Everybody in life has made bad choices. In reality is it's the people that can leave that in history and move on to the future. And that's how you look at somebody. You don't look at them that way.
After you're hearing that, it makes me feel like almost all roads lead to the LiveFest Club.
Right?
all the good roads lead to right
Hell
here.
Yeah.
I think we
no, we'll wrap it, but I just want to say that kudos to Commissioner Kowal because, someone with his background and his position, he can easily shun someone like me or Blake Becker or Kevin away for their past, and then instead he's taking us for where we are at today. I feel like never judged and honored to be able to call him a friend today. So
for sure, man.
I appreciate that, Commissioner.
Dan protected and served. That's our motto, right? Protect and serve as a law enforcement officer. When you go in the Army, you swear to protect and serve. And as a county commissioner, he's doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. That's not a political statement. We are blessed to have guys like Dan that have great taste in music, that look good in a black T-shirt, wears boots and jeans a lot, doesn't get too high on himself. He's for the people, and he can still come hang out at a LiveFest club and just kick it with two real guys, man, Steve and Pat.
Yeah, and part of the 17-plus inch gun arm
That's what
show.
she said.
Yeah, you got it. That's a qualification.
Yes, sir. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Dan qualified. Dan got big arms. Dan got actually a couple guys in this room got big arms. Ricky Haas got big arms. Pat Jira ain't got big arms, but we're working on
I used to tell Pat, I said, listen, when we became close, he used to go do this. I don't know what it was, F-55,
F-45.
I don't know,
Mark
like ride a
Wahlberg.
bike,
Mark Wahlberg.
ride a bike 7 miles or something. I don't know what it is. I said, dude, when you sit at a bar, when you're a single guy, you sit at a bar, and the girl looks over you, she goes, wow, it looks like you rode your bike 10 miles today. Or does she look at your arms and say, wow, do you lift weights? I'm like, dude, you got to lift weights to make your arms look big. So you got to do something in life. So,
You did.
It is
I'm
what it is.
bitching about my arms. Dan Kowal, most prophetic thing ever. You want big arms? You got to work out arms.
You got to pick up heavy
Steve
things.
works out arms for sure.
Oh, yeah, Steve got some guns.
I'm going to start tomorrow.
Man.
Me and Pat going to start tomorrow.
I didn't know Steve was the original Roadhouse, man. He was
was.
going around these bands whooping butt. Right?
That's a whole. We could do a whole show on
there's
his stories, man, with those fights and his interaction with Dana White back in the day. Steve has got more stories than I got freaking braces on my wrist right now. Yeah. I'm not even kidding you. And you got pairs of boots. Steve's got a lot of stories.
Well, Patrick, I want to thank you for letting us come on your show today. It's been a pleasure. Episode 5, LiveFest Club.
I love you, brother.
No, we love you.
Get a bigger hat next time.
Thank you for sponsoring LiveFest Club. And
love you guys. Steve, thank you, man. This feels like you treat us like guests in your own home. This is awesome, dude. Cannot wait for LiveFest. If you've not gotten tickets, man, go to livefest.com. They're almost sold out. I'm not just saying that. It's a fact. Every year they sell out. Don't wait. Get tickets today. Livefest.com.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Been a real pleasure having you.
DJ Center's next up. Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you, Ricky.